Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Dirk Heron.
Fuego here.
Marcia Derk.
And we are back for another in-theater review for you guys. We just saw this last night as you're watching this, 2 nights after its opening. There was not a preview screening for it, and I don't know that I can say I know exactly why, although I'm pretty sure I know exactly why. So we are going to get into the Belko Experiment, you guys. As you know, if you clicked on the video, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to avoid spoilers. You know, there's nothing that we're going to say that isn't clearly apparent that's going to happen in the trailer itself. But, you know, there's frankly only like 1 or 2 points that we could spoil that would actually ruin the movie for you. So we'll avoid those. But yeah. We're gonna do it like usual. We'll talk about the what we thought overall. Then we'll talk about the story, the acting, the effects, all that stuff in due succession. So first off, our overall thoughts. It was an assault on my senses. It felt like.
Amen. And I think that's why there was no pre-screening, because more so subject matter than lack of faith from
Right.
the studio.
I think that's the case too. That's exactly what I would have said as well. It's the contents of the movie that kept it from being pre-screened rather than the way it was set up. And this is not bagging on it. It's just it was so aggressive that
Not for the faint of heart.
yeah, for sure. So but overall, and here's the interesting thing. I'm a huge Gore fan, and I liked a lot of the Gore in this, but coming from me, this is going to sound very weird, but it was too much for me.
Really?
It was too much. It was too much. Here's the problem. It was it was an assault on my senses, and it was cold-hearted, too cold-hearted at times.
To be entertaining.
To be entertaining, right. I felt the same, like, I was like, okay, this is...
Wait, did we watch the same movie?
Like, honestly, there was a part in this that I felt like I was watching Schindler's List.
I think
and
I'm a
I did not
horrible
like
person.
that at all. But
I know what part you're talking about.
I didn't like that. That they dwelled on it for too long. Anyway, we'll get into the specifics, but I don't know what I think about it, I guess, is my most immediate reaction. I enjoyed a lot of the gore. There was not much by way of character development. It was just, again, an assault on my senses. That's my best overall thing.
Can I say why I think you have such a problem? Is because you'd probably be one of the elites that would be like, fuck y'all.
What?
Maybe.
When it comes down to it, you just have to face that part of yourself. It's like,
I would not have been one of the sheeple.
I think Marcia would have been one of the elites then, if you're making that comment.
Marcia's seen too many. Anyone that likes the Purge movies would not be a sheeple in this movie.
I'd be setting booby traps. I'd be like held up. I'd be like, yeah.
Did you say booby? Sorry, I'm a simple creature over
Good
here.
Lord. All right, so Marcia, you go ahead since you were talking. What were your overall thoughts on it?
I love this movie. I love it because, yes.
This coming from the girl that was the one that was laughing at Glenn's death.
And she didn't want to see a ape get hurt by
that's
people. But
different.
people are different, right?
Well, it's different. Animals don't have choices. People do.
Not a lot of the people in this movie.
They all had a choice. They either chose to
Kill
be
or be
weak.
killed.
Kill or be killed was literally their choice.
Right.
Yeah.
You could either be weak or you could do what you need to do.
Okay.
Animals would.
So you liked it then? Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Cool.
I thought it was cool. I thought I like the fact that everybody was kind of puddle deep. You knew exactly who everybody was within the first 5 minutes, and that was it. That's all you needed.
And they got right to it,
Yeah.
which I did in fact.
I loved that.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Yeah.
No
I was
beating around
hoping.
the bush.
I was hoping. I'm like, it would be so amazing if 5 minutes after we get through the doors, shit went down, and it was maybe 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then shit goes down. Like as soon as the announcer comes on, I was like, oh, this better not be a pre-announcement. This better be the announcement.
You know, they have to put a little water in the kiddie pool,
Yeah.
you know, so before the kids can play in it or kill each other in it or drown each other in it. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I
That's
don't know.
actually a very apt analogy. That's very strange. Anyway.
I really think that I think this kind of holds true how people would react in that situation. You're going to work, you think it's a normal day, and you're like, this can't be real, and then you're like, oh wait, this is real, and then quickly people have to make decisions of what they do. There's gonna be some people who are gonna still be kind of confused and not be able to wrap their minds around it, but then there's gonna be people who are gonna be like, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen, and I'm either gonna like be the number one guy, or
It's either step up or get left behind.
Right.
And a lot of these, it's a lot of the alpha male dudes.
The people with combat training.
Naturally, yeah. So Fuego, we'll go in reverse order. We'll go with you next.
Okay.
What were your overall thoughts?
You know, a reviewer that I saw who didn't spoil any of this described it as mean-spirited.
That's
and
the way I felt.
I don't know if I would go that far, but it was definitely incredibly bloodthirsty, and I was entertained to a degree, but it also made me just kind of turn things around and look at myself and like, what do we find entertaining in this day and age? And we are the Romans and all that
I
stuff.
didn't want to think that way, but this movie made me think that way.
It made me have self-reflection, so I'm kind of there with you, where I was like, ooh, it was like a seesaw. I was teetering, back and forth, but I did like the movie. I thought it was very well made. I thought that James Gunn's script was witty when it needed to be, and dark and horrible when it needed to be, and yet when those moral dilemmas presented themselves, I felt like I was right there with the characters, and I was like, shit, this would suck. Like, why do we have to... I felt like Mike, the lead character, throughout, where you don't want to succumb to what everybody else thinks needs, including, I guess, mild spoiler, his lady. She was more in tuned than even he was, and
she was more ready to straddle the line.
she had that hot tattoo that I wanted to see where it went.
Your overall
I'm a
thoughts?
simple creature. I'm sorry.
Well, I thought Belko was brutal and badass.
There you go.
I'm talking.
I like the alliteration.
I enjoy ultraviolence. What can I say? And I think that
Get to the
I think
ultra-violence.
I think that there was enough humor in it that it kept it kind of lighthearted.
I didn't think there was enough, but I wanted to get into
I don't know.
that
There
for
was
sure.
there
Go
was
ahead,
certain
go ahead.
characters in the movie that kept
There
it
was one. There
sort
was
of
the typical
lighthearted
stoner
with
guy.
Well,
No,
yeah,
there was a couple.
yeah. There was the nerdy guy too.
The stoner,
know.
the consider. There's a lot of stereotypical
Yeah.
kind of archetype character.
Yeah.
The Haida chick.
Well, even the guy that was like kind of a pervert, like he was funny.
John C.
know?
But John C. McGinley is a master actor.
Right.
We'll get
Yeah.
into that. But
So,
yeah. No,
but
he did
I don't know. I thought that they kept it light enough comically that all that violence.
you felt it was balanced enough.
Yeah, and I laughed along with the violence. I don't know.
Yeah.
When you see people's heads blowing up and like getting their heads bashed in, I don't know. It's kind of funny, and I like the practical effects in it too.
Yeah.
And
Which we'll get to.
But
yeah,
again, it straddles that line between enjoyable violence and are we laughing because it's funny, or are we laughing because we're so uncomfortable that we're seeing so much of this grotesqueness that we just have to be like,
No, I was genuinely laughing.
No, I know you were. We've known there's a
bloodthirsty this
screw
girl.
loose in your
I've
head
seen
for a while.
some pretty, violent movies to where it's uncomfortable. And I
Have you
wasn't.
American History
Have
X.
you seen a Serbian
Yeah.
film?
X. Right off the bat, American History
You don't
X
laugh in that
in that movie.
No, but
No.
this was almost again. I'm a guy that despises bringing up Nazism, but the similarities in that one scene just drove me
You know
batty.
You
And
know
this
what
is a
I
good
thought
segue
of?
to story, though.
You know
right?
what I thought
Yeah,
of,
that's a
though?
good idea. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
thought of The Giver.
I don't remember The Giver.
They did a big screen adaptation recently.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's
Where-
kind of dystopian future. a
Right,
little bit,
right, where they kill all the old people and then.
No,
they're
I
gonna-
liked that though.
Yeah.
That was really good, if I recall.
Well, that's what I think about. You get rid of all the weak ones.
Well, that was the mentality of the
Save-
guys.
save
who
the
yeah,
one-
they were like
Yeah.
anyone over 60.
Like,
you know.
I mean, you look at the value of life. How much value of life do you have left? Well,
Did you agree with their rationale?
sorry, but like if you're looking at somebody who's like 70 years old versus somebody who's like 30 years old.
Of
I mean,
course, the younger people deserve
No,
to
but
live.
what if the 70-year-old is a philanthropist that is able to help humanity?
It doesn't
and
matter at this moment.
But
'Cause
that's the thing. It
everybody's gonna
should.
die.
It
And
should.
then-
And I know you only have like a lot of times they're on a time limit. It's like you got
Yeah.
2 hours to decide what 30 people you're gonna kill or 60 of you are
But
gonna die.
What I think they did wrong is in this situation, even Mike said it's not going to just stop here. Kill the people that are strong, because it's like Survivor too, right? You don't want all the strong guys at the top.
How are you
because
gonna
then you're
how you gonna
fight each
manage
other.
that though? You're gonna gain you have to somehow
have-
rally a bunch of B types
Yeah.
to take over a bunch of A-types in a rapid fashion, and that's just they're too B.
There was many opportunities when some of the A-listers could have totally taken out the other A-listers and then killed everybody else.
Go through the story real quick, Marcia.
Okay. Well, the
Well,
story?
actually, yeah,
Yeah,
Dirk,
yeah.
you real quick, since you're the guest, just real quick, run it down for everyone. Everyone knows from the trailer, but go ahead, just
We've
so
been
they know
hinting
what
it
we're
a lot,
talking about.
but-
Yeah.
Well, it's just a bunch of people going to work at some point
In Colombia,
In
Yeah,
Colombia,
a remote area. in
which was
Colombia,
not
no
pointed
less.
out in the trailer
Right.
at all.
Yeah, and so they basically get this announcement, and it says that you need to kill 2 people
In 30 minutes.
In 30 minutes, and then like all the windows and the doors like lock. Well, there's
Slam
like,
shut. There's
slam
giant
shut.
metal shutters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so they're trapped, and
There's no cell phone reception.
Yeah.
They're cut off.
yeah,
And very quickly they realize that it is a serious situation and they better listen to the directives or face the consequences.
Despite the COO trying to calm everybody down, have some water.
Is that Aiden Quinn?
I could not think of
No.
the actor's name.
That's not Aiden Quinn, but
He's not the guy that was okay. Yeah,
It's not Aiden Quinn.
Okay, no, I don't know why I keep thinking of that. Oh no, he was in Ghost though.
Right.
This was the guy that was in Ghost.
He was the bad.
He was the bad guy in Ghost. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's very, very easy to hate him right off
Right,
the bat.
yeah.
Not Ghost Dad though, right?
So the story itself, let's hit on that, and then
Yeah.
we'll segue into the acting of everyone. It was, very shallow. There's nothing much more to it than that. But what I want to know is, does it work as a full-length feature that thin of a story? And I'm here to say I think it does.
Yeah, agree.
I think it absolutely does because it was lean and mean, 128 minutes, or no, an hour and 28
Hour and
minutes.
28. Yeah.
Hour and 28 minutes. So it is done before an hour and a half's up, and you're like, okay, that's about as much of that as I could have taken. But the story didn't need any more than that because it was frankly, and a lot of people are making the comparisons to Battle Royale.
Well, yeah, it was Battle
yeah.
Royale meets The Office.
It was.
I was
It
also
was.
thinking Raid. Remember that one
The
movie?
Raid, right?
The
Right.
Raid, yeah.
Well, and it's also a little Hunger Gamesy,
Well,
which was
and-
Battle Royale.
And also the weird one that we watched recently, the blood-sucking bastards. I got
Yeah,
a
it was a
little
bit
bit
of a
of a
Blood-Sucking
vibe from
Bastards
that
vibe, too.
Just these people in an office space being presented with an insanely gruesome situation. That was played more for laughs compared to this one, though.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
But yeah, so it did the story. Anything else about the story, or do you want to segue right into the acting?
No, I think there wasn't that much of a story, but
No.
it didn't need it for the type of movie it was.
Well, let's hit on the acting.
I still want to give James Gunn credit, though, because he didn't direct this, obviously, because
He
he's
wrote
too
it.
busy with the dump trucks of money the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to bring in. So he was
I'm
like,
fine with
hey,
that.
Mr. Greg McLean, who did, Rogue and
Love Rogue.
Wolf Creek and stuff.
Wolf Creek
so
is great
yeah.
too. He's
did
a
a hands-on.
talented director for sure.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looked good. It was well directed.
It was well directed, and but honestly though, James Gunn, does he write? He doesn't write the Guardians movies himself, does
Yeah,
he?
oh, yeah, he
Oh,
does.
does.
He co-writes.
He co-writes. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Because this was, I could see shades of James Gunn in this, but I since he was given sole credit, it's just and he's a co-writer on Guardians. Like, it feels to me like he needs someone else to balance some things,
I think
whether
the
it's the
story
humor.
on
Again,
Guardians,
I know Dirk
but-
says there was enough humor. I don't feel like there was nearly enough humor.
I'm more so
to
with you. I
offset
thought they were
it.
I
going to
thought that
play
was
the
funny.
violence more so for laughs, and I felt like
It was just
there
the
were
one
laughs
stoner,
intermingled, but
always the
none of
one
the
stoner.
deaths were played for laughs. I didn't think anyone's
No.
death was played for laughs.
No, and I think they needed. I think they needed to do it. No, every death was. And that's actually a good point. Every death was very serious, and it was supposed. It felt like they were trying to be like, "Ooh, this was impactful," like almost every single time. But
And then they balanced stuff out with laughs in the interactions in between. I didn't laugh when anybody got killed. So
I think there was a part where I kind of giggled.
Yeah,
There
the
was
nerd.
multiple.
oh well, that was timing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was comedic comic killing.
Yeah.
Comedically timed comic killing.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Alliteration. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I say comic because you could almost picture like a comic book panel of that, like
Yeah.
that poke. I almost ruined it. Anyway, but that's actually it reminds me there was a couple of good actors. one actor, the sort of nerdy guy, is from Silicon Valley. He
Yeah.
plays
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Head on
Okay.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was really good. Again, John C. McGinley played one of the alpha dudes. He was Dr. Cox on Scrubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
One of
he's
my
also
in that horrible
favorites.
in that
Stand
new
versus Stand Against
Stand Against
Evil.
Evil.
I like that show. I watched all the episodes.
Did you
Did
really?
you
I
after
did.
we watched the first one? And
I
didn't
watched
like it?
all of it. Yeah.
Well, we gotta talk
It got
about that because
renewed
I've
for a
been
second
tempted
season,
to
so-
watch it, to be honest with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so John C. McGinley was good.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little bit of Michael Rooker.
Just a little bit, but I was more intrigued to
kinda
see the
sad
guy
that
who
we
was
didn't
his
get
little janitor duo dude. It was the guy from Ant-Man who was like, "This is the work of gypsies," and he was
Yeah.
also in the Dark Knight.
that's who it
Dark
was.
Knight,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
He did-
I remember
he
him
was
more
on
from
Fat
Dark
Man
Knight.
on Batman, and he did a very interesting,
That's
lengthy
right, that
interview
was
where
him.
he was talking about all the different bit roles that he's had since that breakthrough. And well, I don't want to say he's not there too long. He's a minor character,
Yeah.
but he did an interesting
He was
job.
effective.
He was
Yeah, he
actually
was,
more interesting to me than Michael Rooker. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any other standout acting performances for you guys?
No.
Did you like any of the women? I thought the
they were
women
all
were
pretty
all
interchangeable.
played a little bit.
Yeah, you've got the
No,
new girl,
I-
you've got the love interest.
I like the new
I like
girl.
the I like the brand
The new
new girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
new girl. No,
I-
not to be
I-
Zoe Deschanel, but
I was rooting for her.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna, I don't want to.
definitely.
I don't want to
What does
spoil
that mean?
anything.
We don't
I know, I
spoil
don't
anything.
either, but there was, let's just say there was some unfulfilling
Yeah.
endings to some stories.
I do
Indeed.
agree to that.
So
Because,
You
like,
should
there
mind
was
spoiler
so
again.
much work put in to
Yeah.
only, like, it was
I think-
frustrating.
I
I liked
Bait and
the
switch.
the older Hispanic lady too. She didn't like say anything.
No.
But just like the looks that she kept giving
Yeah.
every time she sees something like
And I thought
horrific
there was-
happening.
And
Like
I
it
thought
was
there
just,
was going to be some significance to the piece that she was carrying around with her that was from the very beginning of the film, but it didn't
no.
have any
It's just
significance
the
at
same
all.
thing that
Well,
just
I
got
thought-
more
puddled
It just got more and more bloodied up as the
Yeah.
movie went on.
Well, it was interesting because when he was like, it's supposed to ward off like bad spirits or something like
But he
that.
was
in
the
beginning.
well, we don't want to.
You know what
But
though?
it
That
was-
might
you could
actually
say
be.
maybe-
It might actually
Because
be an
he's the one who
interesting
bought
way.
it.
Yeah, but everyone that held it didn't have.
Yeah.
You know that happened. So
Yeah.
maybe to an extent there was a bit of good juju to it.
A little
So,
bit. A little
anyway,
happy thing.
again, this might be minor spoilery, but whatever. You won't know exactly what we're talking about until you see it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you've seen the trailers, and I think in the trailers it shows a little bit. Doesn't
Now, I don't think there's
He's
much
like,
to talk
"Nah."
about by way of score. Although
I
Oh,
love
there
those
was a
Spanish
musical
songs.
moment. There
No,
was a
There's
musical
many
moment at
musical
least.
moments.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
please, because
Yeah, dude.
I only picked up on one. So.
Okay, well there's tons of them. I love the fact that the soundtrack was covers in Spanish of American
Yeah,
pop
Yeah,
songs.
yeah.
And they show their heads throughout. You've got California Dreamin'.
Mm-hmm.
You've got I Will Survive at the very beginning, which was very poignant
Mm-hmm.
and really just set the table for what was about to transpire in Colombia. And even the end song was, I mean, I
well,
thought it was
wasn't there a
rad.
Hotel California too?
There was that
I
too.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, okay, all right, fair enough. I stand corrected.
I
Yeah.
actually want the soundtrack.
It was
It's
great. I
amazing.
love
The
that.
one that I
There
paid
wasn't much of a
attention to
score,
was the
but-
one that was played during that scene. What was that song that they played
California
during that
Dreamin'?
scene? No, that during that
Oh,
scene.
it was California Dreamin'.
Was that really?
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah,
one that
in
they played
Spanish,
during that
yeah.
scene?
Yeah.
It was so aggressive.
Turn the music on!
Ugh,
Yeah.
that got to me. But, all right.
Yeah, I thought the musical cues were on point. Not much of a score.
No.
I mean, there
No.
was a couple points where there was like sound effects used for like when the dude was about to start killing people and all the drowning like ear ringing just subsided so he could start just bashing people's heads in
Yeah.
and stuff. But aside from that, I mean, not a lot of sound effect usage aside from just the smushing of skulls and
Oh,
brain
my
tissue
God,
and
so awesome.
Which is actually
we're talking
good-
multiple smashes
Yeah,
on
there's a
Yeah.
lot
skulls.
of, the sound design of the kills were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a good Gore segue, right?
I was just
Oh,
going to say, it's a perfect segue into
absolutely.
the effects.
I
Marcia, go for it.
I love the fact that they did not turn the camera when most people would. They showed it happening, people's faces getting, like you said, crushed in, slaughtered in, and just like ripped apart. And like
Heads blown
the
out.
heads being blown up, they showed it all. And I think that
The
to
after
me,
effects of an exploded head.
yeah,
I
and they
still-
even dug in one head, like a couple
Like
heads,
pulling
like,
back flaps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
like, what's going on?
and
What
most-
happened in here?
and most times they won't do that. It's too much for a lot of people, and I can understand why. But at the same time, it just makes me kind of happier as a horror fan that they're not shying away. They're actually giving it to us. And
I did have one gripe, there is an unconventional weapon that was hinted at, and the girl even pulls it out. You see it in the trailer, and minor spoiler, it doesn't end up getting put to use. You see your more conventional stuff like axes, and I guess, you know, a little tape thing, you know, going to a head isn't that conventional.
I saw a poster with the silhouette of someone holding a tape dispenser over his head. I was like, really? A tape dispenser? And then I was like, oh, there's a tape dispenser.
I saw a stapler with blood on it too, and I don't think we saw that in there
Maybe
either.
think
But
of Office Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah.
I was
If it was a stapler.
Yeah, I was stapler, exactly.
That
I need
would've
to go
been
kill
perfect.
someone with my
I
stapler.
gotta kill them with my stapler.
Kill them. Why haven't you paid me?
Oh my gosh. But yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah, the gore was brutal,
the gore
though.
was good.
And it made it less funny. I'm
The
with you, man.
close-ups, they actually did give us some good close-ups of a post-exploded head,
Yeah.
and it was really convincing and nasty, and the gore was not something that was lacking in this movie
Yeah.
at all.
There's a point early on, though, where a skull gets indented.
That was maybe my favorite effect
Yeah.
of the
And
movie.
it wasn't super bloody, but you could see the just...
The skull having been caved in that
Yeah.
one spot.
Mhm.
Right.
And it happened so quickly, you're just like, wait, did that just happen?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like, holy
I think even
crap.
the character was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. And what I like about it is that in a lot of movies, when you see someone get in the head with like an blunt object, they still are okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, you're not going to be okay if you get hit, especially the instrument he got hit with.
Heavy tool, man.
It was a heavy tool, and you are not going to come back from that.
No.
So I do appreciate that.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
reality of it.
So,
Well, I did think that the main character took like way too many blows.
he
though.
did. He
Like
took a
he
lot
got
of
hit by a
hits.
fire extinguisher.
He got lucky
Yeah.
through, like, he was,
Fell down some
his
stairs.
storyline
Yeah.
was pretty convenient.
Got
Yeah.
shot
Because
at.
frankly, he
And-
should have had his head exploded at one point.
When he
but
tried to cut out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually,
The
I think
thing.
maybe we should go minor spoiler here. So if you guys don't want to watch this or don't want to hear anything, I thought from the very beginning it was going to be him for sure was going to survive, and I did not think that it was going to be his lady. I thought it was going to be the new girl, and that was the bait and switch that we were discussing, right?
Mhm.
You know?
well, that didn't even spoil it, so
Yeah.
let's
Okay.
keep
Maybe.
it there.
Maybe.
Let's keep it
Sorry,
there.
guys.
Because
He's
you didn't
cutting out.
say who actually died. You said that's what you thought was going to happen. You didn't
Yeah.
say what actually did happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I thought was going to happen
Ah.
was I thought the main guy and the main girl were going to be the only two left. And since basically
gonna go to
this
kill
might
count.
this might
Yeah.
be the only spoilers that basically the end, like you see what you see in the beginning, what Dirk said was the first two people, that's stage one. Stage two is 30 people, which they say in the trailer.
Right.
And then stage three might be the only spoiler, is that the last person alive with the most kills will get out. And so I thought that the main guy and the main girl would be the only two left, having not killed anyone. And so in order to ensure that she would stay alive, he would have her kill him. So her count would be, or I guess it wouldn't matter if it's just
Well,
two. Anyway, I
actually-
thought it would come down to them, but
Yeah.
you know, I was proven wrong. So again, that's not a spoiler.
She did kill somebody though.
Yeah.
That's
so-
true. Yeah, well, that's when
Yeah.
my theory went out the window. I was
Yeah.
watching. I was like,
point
oh, I guess
back.
that's not going to be what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
I had no
Yeah.
idea who was going to survive or what the ending was going to be. I wasn't a big fan of the ending. I felt like it
actually
could have
liked it.
just... I don't know. I feel like they could have just ended it, but
Can
They
I
did take it that extra 5 minutes that I was
Yeah.
a little surprised by.
Can
yeah.
I say the ending, like the very, very end, had a little bit of a cabin in the woods type vibe to it?
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
That's not spoiling anything. You know, take what you will from
We're
it.
keeping it clean here. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for our immediate reaction. I mean, overall, I guess I gotta say I liked it overall, Dirk.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd
Well,
say 3.5 in like bludgeoned heads or something if I was gonna give it a score.
All right.
I don't know. I think it's one of my favorites so far. for
Okay.
This year?
Wow.
This year.
All right.
Yeah.
I think
I just
it's-
enjoyed it. I don't know. It was straight to the point, and people were getting killed, and I got to watch it. It was fun.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. Little insights into all of our personalities. Thanks very much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below if you're excited to see this, or if you have seen it, what you thought. Thanks again. I've been Cecil Laird.
Dirk Heron.
Gracias, Jaime, and Fuego.
I'm Marcia Parker.
While you're down there commenting, make sure you click the link in the description box for our TeePublic site where you can get a shirt with the Coexist design on it, our horror show logo, as well as some shirts with our horrific hairy mascot on it as well. So if you get any of those or anything on the site through our channel,
We love you long time.
exactly, and you will be supporting the show. So thanks very much. Until next time, remember,
Stay scared!